The perception is this is an even fight, close to it. Now the tension builds. Now perhaps the drama will build.
Well, and you wonder if Mayweather recognizes the danger of throwing 35 punches in a round where the opponent throws 68. I mean, Manny, your point is quite well taken. It doesn't much matter whether you're landing if you're throwing twice as much as the other guy.
And then actually Floyd is having a problem of hitting Oscar now. So he's throwing punches, but he has not found a way to penetrate.
I'll tell you what, the body punches have taken their toll. Maybe he didn't land them at a high rate, but Mayweather is defensive when Oscar goes to the body.
I think that Oscar's some kind of way figured out Floyd's rhythm is taking his punches away from him.
Big right hand over the top by Mayweather, but one punch at a time.
And Oscar sees it. He's half deflecting those shots. Floyd still cannot find a way to get clean punches together. He blocked that punch.
Good left hook, but partially blocked, as Manny pointed out.
Tell me something, Emmanuel. How does a fighter get to be considered a great fighter if he throws basically one punch at a time? Although this is maybe one of the best flurries he's had all night.
Well, it's not that difficult to be the greatest. I've never considered him great. He's considered a pound for pound, but the Ray Leonards and all of that stuff, comparing him and Ray Robinson, no. He's a good fighter.
Look, he's won all of his fights, and he's won 36 out of the 37 pretty unquestionably. So, you know, obviously, from a competitive standpoint, that's hard to argue with.
Yeah,
but this sport is also about theater.
It's about theater and the caliber guys that he fought to some degree.
Well,
but he's a very talented fighter.
Another De La Hoya rally against the rope, throwing and throwing. Mayweather grinning as if to say the crowd misinterprets all this, but the fact is he's being swamped by activity in those moments.
He's winning the fight because he's busy, and Floyd cannot hit Oscar. Oscar's defense is pretty good.
Hit him that time. Incidentally, CompuBox somewhat disagrees with us about accuracy, Manny. They had Floyd landing 20 of 35 in the last round. That's high accuracy.
This is a good moment here, and for Mayweather, who senses that there is some urgency now.
He's thrown more in this round, and perhaps this is the beginning of the stretch run. He's been saying all along that De La Hoya would fade toward the end of the fight. We're into round 9, so perhaps Mayweather's mentality is, now's the time when I pick up the pace and separate myself from him, as was the case against Zab Judah.
Step back, please, fellas. There we go.
But
Watch your
Zab
head.
actually cut off. Oscar's still very aggressive.
I know
Oscar's very aggressive.
I know Oscar De La Hoya, and he ain't no Zab Judah.
Thank you.
Good work. We need a little more hustle. A little more hustle. You whooping him easy, but I'm saying he just coming forward. I'm saying you just whooping his ass. You got add more hands, a little more go. You doing good.
Yes,
Listen,
yeah.
Don't go on the ropes. Tie him up in the middle. If we get here, tie him up. Other than that, whoop his ass.
Keep dropping underneath them shots.
Listen, you gotta keep going at that.
All right? It's double that jab, Vaseline.
Reset. After reset, don't wait in there. Run too long. Reset. Hands up.
Don't stand in front of him. You got your toes. Move your head a little bit. Another head movement. Nice and loose. Keep popping that jab. Be touching with that jab, okay?
Round 9 was probably one of the more difficult rounds in the fight to score. 3 rounds to go in Las Vegas. Drama building. Harold Lederman, how do you have it to this point?
Look at you, 87-84, 6 rounds to 3, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Jim, in that 9th round, I mean, Oscar De La Hoya throws one big flurry, the crowd goes nuts, and he never throws another flurry the entire round. I don't understand it. He looks at him, he looks at him, he looks at him. In the meantime, Floyd's popping him with clean, effective quad punches. 6-3, Mayweather.
I have it 5-4 for Mayweather.
And please note that Harold Lederman gave the 8th round to Mayweather, a round that I personally thought might have gone to De La Hoya. So that's one of the reasons for the 3-point margin on the Lederman card. Once again in the last round, De La Hoya threw 61 punches to 35 for Mayweather. Judges aren't always that great. at discerning what lands and what doesn't. They are better at simply counting punches.
Well, and also from different sides of the ring, you may see a slightly different fight.
And you know, we never know what the effect of the crowd may have on these judges here, too. Every time Oscar flurries, the crowd really erupts, whether he lands a clean punch or not. And that happens sometimes. But I give Oscar credit because Floyd has not been able to hit him that easy still. He's coming in, he's picking off Floyd's punches for the most part. Floyd looks flashy, but he's having problems hitting Oscar.
He said he would massacre Oscar. He better hurry up if he's going to massacre him.
Well, I've been certain all along that Floyd Mayweather would win the fight. But I'm pretty amazed at what Oscar De La Hoya has shown at this age and after his long stretch of inactivity. This is a spirited effort.
Very spirited effort, very determined effort, too.
Mayweather once again, more accurate, sharper puncher through this point in the 10th round. Oscar looking for one of those chances to pin him against the ropes and flurry. It has not happened here in the 10th. I think the mistake De La Hoya has made in the last couple of rounds is he put the jab back into the holster. Just hasn't thrown it enough. And that, of course, probably has to do with the quick right-hand counters of Floyd Mayweather.
Now he's playing in the Floyd's game, playing mind games.
Mayweather more elusive now, making it harder for Oscar to find those opportunities.
Work out, fellas.
Fight beginning to turn in the direction of the favorite. Mayweather dropping his hands as if to say, go ahead and lead, I'll counter you. Frustrating round for De La Hoya. 10 rounds finished, 2 rounds to go.
Okay.
2 good rounds, right? 2 good rounds. Don't get wild. Double up, triple up. That's a good stiff job. Good head movement. Like your height. Like your height. 6 minutes, that's all you got.
But he coming forward. So we gonna do?
Listen,
You beating me, what I'm
give
saying.
him credit for coming forward.
He
Stay
ain't
out the
doing
road.
shit.
He ain't doing shit.
Floyd, we ain't worry about that. The main thing is this, you win. We don't give a fuck about that.
Keep his ass in the center.
Here you see Floyd landing a right hand at the end of the round. It's partly because of Oscar being fatigued right now and getting out of position and not being able to see those crisp punches as good as he did earlier in the fight.
De La Hoya only 7 out of 62 in that round, his lowest number of connected punches since the first round. Mayweather 20 out of 44. That was the most one-sided round in the fight so far. And perhaps a harbinger of what Mayweather's been saying all along, that De La Hoya would fade down the stretch and he would begin to dominate him in the late rounds. This is round 11. The most satisfying knockout victory of Oscar De La Hoya's career took place in the 11th round against Fernando Vargas. But it was Vargas who was tiring that night.
Yeah, and Vargas, but Floyd is a different fighter here.
Big time. Right hand pot shots for Mayweather. De La Hoya not jabbing, leaving himself open for Mayweather's opportunities. De La Hoya must jab and put Mayweather on the defensive. He has not been able to do it the last couple of rounds.
Oscar's getting tired, and not just physically, it seems like mentally he's becoming very drained now.
Now this is becoming like a sparring session for Mayweather, because if De La Hoya doesn't throw, he has no chance. Right hand lead that time by De La Hoya. Mayweather skipping away along the ropes, hammers Oscar with a right hand in the center of the ring. Hits him again. Hand speed difference more and more apparent. Mayweather beginning to operate like a surgeon.
Oscar's totally abandoned his left jab, which is his most effective punch he's had tonight.
Good body shot by De La Hoya.
Lots of punches, but nothing effective.
De La Hoya has been unable to land a big punch. and Mayweather doesn't punch hard enough to make a serious impact on De La Hoya.
Well,
so we have a boxing match which doesn't quite live up to the hope and the hype everyone had.
At the height of his reign as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport, it didn't matter who Pernell Whitaker fought. You would pick him to win by unanimous decision. It was the logical choice. At the height of Roy Jones's reign as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport, it didn't matter who he fought. You would pick him to win by unanimous decision. It was the logical choice. It didn't matter who Floyd Mayweather was fighting tonight. The logical choice was Mayweather by unanimous decision.
He tried a very smart fight. Now he threw a looping right hand at Oscar. He threw another loop. He did. He throw the right hand between the gloves. He's keeping Oscar totally confused right now. I guess he's abandoned landing that left hook, which Oscar seems to block every time he throws. So he's now concentrating on hitting Oscar with right hands.
Hard right hand by De La Hoya. His most effective punch in 3 rounds. Crowd tries to root Oscar into position to take advantage, but it was too late.
Be interesting to see how that round will score.
You wonder how this fight looks
You got to close out like a champ.
from up in the balcony.
This round here, I've been 12 rounds. Listen, boxing shit out of it. Listen. This round.
Catch your breath, huh? Catch your breath. Nice and relax.
Nice relax.
Smart, huh? Smart.
Gloves for final round. Touch gloves when you come out.
Okay, Oscar.
Right? He
Gloves
already,
for final round. Touch gloves when you come out.
he already frustrated. Now go to work on his ass.
Here for you, son. Okay? He's gonna walk right into it. Put the jab hook right hand together for me, okay? All right, let's go to work now,
Good,
son.
solid minutes.
Come on. You're not even breathing at me.
A CompuBox revelation between rounds as Floyd Mayweather cranked it up in the 11th, throwing many more punches than did Oscar De La Hoya. The pattern throughout the fight had been the opposite. Now De La Hoya knows that he must go for the knockout in the 12th round. He landed a big right hand toward the end of the 11th. It probably wasn't enough to put Mayweather in any jeopardy.
Look out, look out.
A 12th round knockout, if it were to happen, would be the first of De La Hoya's career. Right now, Mayweather is once again who's landing clean punches. And once again, Mayweather throwing more as De La Hoya seems to search for the opportunity for one big punch. The jab was the key, and when Oscar stopped throwing it in around 8, the fight began to tilt in Mayweather's favor.
Yeah, Mayweather has no answer for Oscar's jab.
Step back. Here we go.
Almost impossible to hunt as elusive a fighter as Floyd Mayweather down with one big shot. The only chance for De La Hoya at this point, it would appear, would be to get another one of those big rallies against the ropes and somehow land a left hook. And we mentioned that a great defensive fighter like Mayweather could largely take away the money weapon like the left hook. De La Hoya hasn't landed one of those big, super clean left hooks upstairs all night long.
And neither have Floyd. Both of them best punches are left hooks, believe it or not. But the main thing is Floyd needs to be fresher, thinking, punching crispier, seems to be more in control of his body and everything else. And that may impress the judges.
Just much faster hands.
Yes.
Much more command in the closing rounds.
But Oscar's fought a very determined fight regardless of what the outcome is.
This is an argument with fists, and the younger man appears to be winning the argument.
De La Hoya visibly determined not to go quietly into that good night. But fighting Floyd Mayweather is a dose of cold reality. This flurry will warm the hearts of De La Hoya's millions of fans, but the judges are watching the accurate clinical retaliation of a truly great fighter at the peak of his skills.
It's very likely that Cinco de Mayo is becoming Mayweather.
Was it one last hurrah for a giant pot of money? Or will De La Hoya make good on his promise to keep on fighting even after this? And where does Mayweather go from this pinnacle after claiming that he's going to retire? They fight to the finish and please the crowd.
A good fight. And by the reaction of the crowd, the dramatics at the end gave them what they came for.
A better fight than a lot of people anticipated, but with the likely outcome seemingly written in stone. And the crowd appreciates both. Oscar De La Hoya unloaded 82 punches in the 12th round, trying to find the one big shot. And incidentally, in the closing seconds, he finally landed that left hook, Manny.
Yeah.
A parting shot, as it were.
It was a good finish.
Mayweather 25 out of 54 in the 12th. His accuracy all night long was a mark of his greater hand speed, his youth, his fire, his ability to be the best fighter in the sport. Let's take a look at the three official judges, carefully chosen. Chuck Jompa, one of the veterans of the trade, 114 title fights. Easy card in Mayweather's win over Baldomir the night that Floyd won all 12 rounds. Sami Kazmarek from New Jersey, brought in for this. Had Hasim Rahman even with James Toney in Atlantic City a year and a half ago. And Jerry Roth, who was also a judge on that night back in the late 1990s when Oscar De La Hoya squared off against Felix Trinidad, and who had Mayweather a winner by 4 points in his first fight with Jose Luis Castillo the night that some ringsiders thought that Floyd had actually lost. Millie De La Hoya can be proud of her man. Floyd Mayweather Sr. can be proud of his son and of the fighter he's trained for the last 7 years.
It was a very good fight. I was very impressed with both of the guys. They fought good. They fought to the best of their ability. But I tell you what, I know one thing. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has a lot more respect for Oscar after this fight here, because this is the roughest fight he's been in.
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the scores and the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGM Grand, we go to the scorecards. Tommy Kazmarek scores the bout 115-113. De La Hoya. Chuck Jompa scores the bout 116-112 Mayweather. Jerry Roth scores the bout 115-113 to the winner by split decision and new WBC Super Welterweight Champion of the World, Pretty Boy, Floyd Mayweather.
Many in the crowd unaware apparently that it was De La Hoya's title which was at stake, yeah. Ready to celebrate when Michael Buffer said new, thinking that that meant their guy had won. But no, it was De La Hoya's title in this Mayweather's first trip to 154 pounds. And how about those scores, Emmanuel?
I think the scores, you couldn't argue with them. It was a competitive fight.
There was moments in the Mayweather corner, though, after the announcement of Tommy Kazmarek's score in favor of De La Hoya.
All RF mics are clear of the ring. That was bad.
Be nice if you... Celebrations throughout the ring. Mayweather's victory, and let's take a look at final CompuBox numbers. Mayweather